long-term relationships? Number one, femininity. And number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. Mrs. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter if you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making. Now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't. Welcome to another live with Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am Danielle. So I am here today to talk about a few things. I wanted to talk about a video that I have up that I'm going to pull up. First, if you are wanting to join in on the conversation that we're talking about today, or just any other topic, you can do so by if you see. There's a number at the bottom of the screen, 813-816-1813. To learn more about my content, go to MrsDanielleDeVita.com. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Go ahead and follow me and subscribe on YouTube. It's free to do all of those things. Now, if you decide that you want to come onto camera, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for you to join on camera. You can make sure your camera ready, and what that means is making sure that you follow the protocols to join on camera. So try not to have on a bunny, try to be, have clothes on and be properly clothed. Okay, so I have a link in here. All right, join on camera using this link. Go ahead and use that link if you want to get on camera. If you want to call, there's a number that's just going at the bottom of the screen, 813-816-1813. All right, so I am going to play this video. Today I have a video for you where a woman asks, why do people say that marriage is hard? And I'm going to provide my input as a woman who's been married for 13 years. So if you didn't know, I am a relationship and femininity coach. My goal is to help both men and women. Primarily, I've more women come to me, but my goal is to help both men and women get in a relationship that best suits them, that they should be in. And a lot of times women are in relationships and men are in relationships longer than they should be in. And women are not exhibiting enough femininity, and men are not reclaiming their masculinity. So a lot of this has to do with people going outside of some of the social concepts that were set. And a lot of people say, well, why do we have to follow, the traditional views of back in the day? But there's some things that were good, right? And I don't want you to have dysfunctional relationships and try to exhibit some of these characteristics that is going to still have a negative impact on your relationship. I don't want that. But there's some things that we can take away. And a lot of these things have to do with understanding the difference between patience and tolerance. Some people are in relationships and married for years and say, oh, I never liked this person. And some people say, never had enough patience to even deal with the opposite person opposite them, because no one's alike, right? We're going to have people that don't like the same things all the time, to say different preferences. But as long as your foundation is the same, that's what matters. All right, so let me play this video and we'll talk about it. Let me get in here. While I get this video up, I do want you to know I do have a book out. So you can go, you can get coaching sessions from me, and then you can go to my website, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, MrsDanielleDeVita.com. There's a book that's already out, Command Respect from the Woman You Want. It's for men of all ages, race, income, status. I think you would really love this book. And don't think I forgot about the women. I do have a book that's coming out for women called Girl, Go Get Your Husband. I also have a book coming out for teenage girls called Boy Bye. So you'll read those books, and I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. So let's get this video going. Here we go.
What is so hard about marriage? I always hear people talk about marriage being
Hold on, I don't think I can. It won't let me. Well, her face is cut off, but I'm still going to play it anyway.
What is so hard about marriage? I always hear people talk about marriage being extremely hard, but I don't know that I ever hear them break down like exactly what it is about the union of marriage that makes the relationship more difficult than what it was in the dating phase. I've been in a relationship for 6.5 years and we are actively talking about marriage. And I'm really just curious, like, what makes marriage so difficult? I'm also watching someone that I'm extremely close to, who is about to get married. And if I had to guess, I'd say maybe like the performance of a traditional wedding and all that goes with that can really throw a marriage off course in the beginning because that's crazy. But yeah, I'd love to hear from my married folks, from my divorced folks, like what makes marriage so hard?
Okay, so again, I'm not sure why her face is cut off. I think because it's trying to zoom in on her. But she asked the question, why do people say that marriage is hard? Yeah, we use the term marriage is hard. We say that phrase. And again, the term hard it really could be said in a better way. If I could really pinpoint what marriage really is, it requires effort. That's what marriage is. So a lot of people say hard because a lot of people don't like to try. A lot of people want the wedding, like the actual ceremony, but they don't want marriage. And marriage takes effort. Marriage requires you to be mindful. It reminds you to be considerate of other people's feelings and respectful, even when you are upset. It requires you to put time and effort in making the other person happy. We live in this world where we just want to be happy. Well, I'm not happy, so I'm getting a divorce, or I'm not happy, so I just can't do this marriage thing. And in marriage, it requires strings to be attached. So the best way I can give this example is if you've had a contract job, you could keep working there, and when you want to leave, you just stop doing the contract if you want and then go somewhere else. Or if you just live in an area where it's an at-will state. Most states are at will, which means you can quit a job when you want to. If you no longer want to work that job, you can either not show up, you can put in your 2 weeks, you can leave. There's no strings attached. And that's how relationships are, like non-marital relationships. When you're tired of that person, you can break up, you can leave. Even if you have children, a lot of people just leave, they break up. But marriage requires a bond. It's like signing a contract. Well, essentially it is a contract, but it's like you can't just go just because you want. There's more to it than I'm just going to walk away. Mentally, people can try to walk away, but you can't actually walk away. Think about, so I gave you the contract job or an at-will type of job. Think about a job that the person says you have to stay with us for 5 years, and you're signing a clause, an employment contract, and that person saying you have to stay with me for 2 years or 5 years before you go somewhere else. A lot of people are like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to feel like I'm stuck. And what happens if I don't like the job? What happens if I don't like the benefits? What happens if I don't realize I'm getting promotions? What if I'm treated like this? So people don't want to sign an employment contract because they feel bounded, right? And a lot of people want the option of leaving when they want to. And marriage requires you to stay committed. The vows actually mean something, for better or for worse. And people say those things, but they only want better. But when worse comes, people don't want to stick around. When they're not happy, and again, when I say happy, I mean, we're not talking about people are actually mistreating you physically, right? And mentally and verbally mistreating you. We're talking about people who are just not happy. A lot of times we hear the term irreconcilable differences, which means we just have differences. We don't agree, so I don't want to be with you anymore. We don't have, where, this is infidelity. This is this is that. These are things I can actually point to that what marriage is supposed to be. There's only a certain reasons why you would end this marriage. A lot of people now, it's just we're not getting along, and there's a financial strain. There's this, that, and marriage is hard. It's required work. I gotta sit and talk to a person I don't like. I gotta have sex with a person I don't like. I gotta do this. So a lot of people say that marriage is hard when really it means it requires effort. And sometimes people don't have the effort or the patience to deal with that person anymore. That's essentially what that means. They don't have the patience and they don't have the time to deal with it. So it's hard and they walk away. And then a person who says marriage is hard and they're trying to tell you that it's not just as easy, means that it's not easy peasy. Everything's not going to be great. You're not going to love this person and be super happy every day. There are going to be down times, but understanding that it is hard work, meaning you have to apply a certain level of effort to show that, you know what, I want to make this work. We're having a difficult situation, but we're going to sit through and we're going to make this work. We're going to pray about it. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to still love you. I'm still going to be with you. We're still going to fight for this. And that's what makes it hard, because a lot of people don't have the willpower to persevere through things. So, yeah, it can be hard when one person is doing all the work. It can be easy when both people are actively trying to do what they can to make it work. I think that really the perfect term, though, is marriage requires effort. Right. And it requires commitment. And you, ma'am, you mentioned that you were in a relationship for 6 years, but this person, may say, all right, well, I can give her what marriage looks like: house, kids, family, have an account together, do things. But the real commitment is to say it, like actually say the vows, say the commitment, and then live it. And that's what's hard, for people to actually do what they say they're going to do. And a lot of people, if you've been in this world long enough, a lot of people say things, but their actions don't always, be congruent to the words that they say. And we want both actions and word parallel, consistent to one another. So marriage can be a lot easier when both people do and say what they said in those vows. I think that marriage is one of those things that you both have to want it. You both have to really want it, for better and worse. And again, don't get me wrong. There's some worse that you have to come to the conclusion that this marriage was never supposed to be. There are some situations like that. Maybe I got in this relationship and this person was never good for me, but I still went through the process of being married and staying married. I stayed for the kids. I stayed for this. I stayed for that. But there are going to be situations where you realize this was never supposed to be, right? If you got you a Ike and Tina situation, right? If you got you one of those Diary of a Mad Black Woman type of situation, right? And so sometimes you do have to let things go. If you got one of those, why did I get married? That Jill Scott situation. So I think that a lot of people like the beauty of weddings, and that is not what marriage is. That's all for show. I can tell you that. The real deal starts after you say I do, because those are going to be the test of time. And it doesn't take just 1 year, because 2 years or 3 years, because as times go on, you're going to learn new things and have to get through those things. It's like life. Everything doesn't happen when you're little. Things happen in your teenage years, your adult, and as you get older, you go through different things. And marriage is the same way. All right. So again, does anyone want to chime in on this? How are your thoughts? Do you think marriage is hard? Do you think marriage is easy? Do you think that people are not applying any effort? Because we know that 50% of divorces, at least in America, or in 50% of marriages end in divorce. A lot of people are afraid of getting married, especially on the men's point of view. There's a monetary component that makes men feel like, I'm going to lose my money in a divorce, and I don't want that. Then there's, women saying, I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to have to change my name. I don't want to feel like I'm being controlled. I don't want this mistreatment. I've done it. I've been there. At the end of the day, all this goes through is vetting. If you vet for the right person, you won't have these issues. There are people saying, I've been married for X amount of years and I've been unhappy all that time. It's not because marriage sucks. It's because you chose at that person that may not have been right for you. A lot of people use that as an incentive to tell people, don't get married because marriage sucks. No, it's not marriage. What we fail to realize is marriage was meant to work a certain way. It's the people that are in marriages don't make it work, right? Think about anything. Cars, weapons, things had a certain purpose, and people can determine what that purpose is depending on how they use it. If you get a DUI and you don't use the car the right way, it's going to cause damage. But if you use it the right way, it can get you where you have to go. So I think a lot of times people don't understand the vehicle of what marriage is. Marriage is a vehicle, and depending on how you use it, you can determine if there's going to be a wreck or if it gets you from point A to point B. And I like to look at marriage as a legacy, marriage as a blessing. Marriage is a way to cultivate family. It represents that richness of love. It brings all that together. So that is all I have for you. Again, if you do want to say something, you can go ahead on the replay and put some information in on the chat of your thoughts, your opinions, or what you want me to talk about next time. All right. So thank you for tuning in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. You all have a fantastic night. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, follow me, and then also purchase my book. Go to MrsDanielleDeVita.com and purchase my book. I have an ebook and I have a paperback. It's a beautiful, quick read that you can get through. You can read it little by little, a chapter a day, or all in one sitting, however you like to do it. All right, y'all. Take care.
Femininity Perk 101. So a lot of times women say that you can't afford me. And if you want to be a feminine woman, realize that you are not an escort. And committed relationships ought not to be transactional. As you rest in your femininity and learn your worth, you will realize that the men you are with should see you as invaluable and priceless like no other. And yes, you can have shopping sprees, 5-star dinners, and trips, but those things won't make you different and won't set you apart. Things that are priceless and invaluable, money can't buy. Money can't buy peace in a relationship. Money can't buy your love. Money can't buy your joy, your joyful spirit. It cannot buy your gentleness, kindness, your self-control, is in controlling your emotions and how your responses to things, your personality, your attitude or mindset as a whole. If you notice, these are also fruit of the Spirit from the Bible, all right? If you're looking to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you definitely want to make sure you have these. So if you're having talking points of you can't afford me, realize that these are talking points of a basic chick or a modern woman. You want to be different. So get on your feminine journey today. You can also visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com or visit me on other social media platforms.